Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we would like to present about the country of Cuba. First, let me introduce the member of the group who are NAJWA, RUYA, MOHAMAD SYAKIR, SITI ZULAIKHA, SITI AISHAH, and Asma Adniyyah. My name is RUYA and my metric number is 2014732. And now I will start to introduce about Cuba. Cuba is located in the northern Caribbean, where the Caribbean Sea, Gulf of Mexico, and Atlantic Ocean meet. Its nearest neighbors are the United States, Bahamas, Mexico, Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. The capital city of Cuba is Havana. Havana also the largest city in Cuba. The official currency of Cuba is peso, and the official language is Spanish. Christian is the major religion in Cuba, followed by non or irreligion. Cuba population is about 11 million people in 2019. Type of government in Cuba is Socialist Republic. The chief of state and the head of government is the president. And Cuba adopting one state, one party principle. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is RUYA ABDULQADIR HARAHAP and my metric number is 2014732. Now I will continue our group presentation, which is the branches of government in Cuba. In the class we already learned about the three branches of government. There are legislative, executive, and judiciary. And now we are going to talk about these three branches of government in Cuba. The first one is legislative. Legislative power exercised through unicameral, and the parliament is called National Assembly of People's Power. The assembly meets twice a year and it consists of 605 members. The members are elected from multi-member electoral district for a term of 5 years. The last election were held on 11 March 2018 and the next election will be in 2023. Next, executive. The executive consists of the Council of State and the Council of Ministers. President of both councils is Miguel Diaz-Canel, so he bears the title of Chief of State as well as Head of Government. The President is elected by the National Assembly of People's Power and serves for 5 years. And the last one is judiciary. The People's Supreme Court is Cuba's highest judicial branch of government. It is also the court of last resort for all appeals against the decision of provincial courts. President, vice presidents, and judges are accountable and also elected by the National Assembly of People's Power. That's all from me and thank you.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NAJWA HIDAYAH binti NORDAIN, and I will proceed about the leadership of Cuba. So basically, Cuba is a president base of their leadership. So their current president is Miguel Diaz-Canel. He used to be a Cuban politician, and now he served as the president of Cuba since 8 October 2019, and he also previously of the Council of State of Cuba from 2018 to 2019, and he used to be a vice president from 2013 to 2018. He also a member of a Politburo of the Communist Party of Cuba since 2003. Politburo is a political bureaucracy. Okay, next is a Vice President of Cuba. His name is Salvador Valdez Mesa. He is the first Vice President of Cuba since April 2018. Basically, Vice President is a second political position that obtained in the Council of State of Cuba. He also has been a deputy of National Assembly of People's Power since 1993, and he also a member of Political Council of the Central Committee of Communist Party of Cuba, and member of Council of State, where he holds one of the 5 vice presidents.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Siti ZULAIKHA binti Muhammad and I will be presenting on political party. As we all know, Cuba is a communist country with a totalitarian government. They only have one main party that takes in charge and controls everything. The party is named as Communist Party of Cuba, which is PCC. This party is the only party that is legally allowed to exist and hold effective power. So the founder and the first secretary of the party was Fidel Castro, a former prime minister and also president of Cuba. The second secretary is Raul Castro, and the party was built in 1965. So the first point of PCC's involvement is 4th and 5th party congresses. So for 4th congresses in October 1991, the 4th Congress of the PCC met to assess the wreckage of international communism. The Soviet Union at that time was on the verge of disintegration, and the Soviet Communist Party was rapidly losing its hold on power. So the 4th Congress then declared that the collapse of the Soviet Union and the communist regimes of Europe was a political disaster that came from avoidable mistakes which the PCC would avoid. So for the 5th Congress, in October 1997, the 5th Congress then assembled to the general relief of its members. They had actually survived. Their political regime had endured all the obstacles. Cuba had succeeded in resisting the sharper onslaught of United States policies during the 1990s. So Cuba members, they fought hard to survive, and finally they did win. Next, moving on to the next point, which is political bureau and central committee. For political bureau, the PCC political bureau is the party's leading decision-making institution and Cuba's most important decision-making entity. The political bureau meets regularly to discuss the nation's key issues, and furthermore, most powerful leaders have led the bureau since 1965. Some of them were Fidel Castro, Raul Castro, and also June Almeida. In the slides, we could see the organization of the PCC in 2001. And as for Central Committee, the PCC Central Committee, a much larger group than the Political Bureau, is made up of many key leaders from intermediate levels of responsibility. Next, the Central Committee also represents the party elite better than its predecessors. It is no longer broadly representative of Cuban society and institutions. Its members are seeking the opportunity to rule. The last point is party organization and its membership and rule. The PCC is governed or controlled by its party congresses. The PCC is the one who chooses the membership of the Central Committee and Political Bureau as well. Next, the PCC is known as a party of a selection. It is for selected members only. Not everyone who wishes to belong to the party has the right to join it, although it is a must for all party members to seek to be a member. They are chosen through a complex process to look for the quality and capable ones. These are the changes from what PCC's involvement has done. First, for elected public offices, they wield a relatively modest power in Cuba. Second, the National Assembly meets infrequently and has limited powers. Third, provincial and municipal assemblies have limited resources to carry on with their task. So I think that is all for political party. I'll pass the next part to the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad SYAKIR bin KAMAL. I am here to present about Cuba's electoral process. Cuba is a one-party political system, or we call single-party system. Cuba has a unique electoral system. Elections here are not fought on political or other issues. There is no campaigning or rallies or TV spots. Instead, each candidate has a single-page biography posted in public places and in front of the polling stations. The Cuban authorities say this creates a level playing field because candidates don't depend on who has the largest financial contributions in order to win. There is more than one candidate for each seat. One of the first jobs of the new municipal authorities is to select candidates for the provincial legislatures as well as the National Assembly. There are 5 conditions to be a voter in Cuba. First, Cuban citizens must older than 16 years old. Second, he or she must be resident for 2 years on the island and mentally healthy, no criminal background or criminal charges, never had deprived of their political rights. Elections in Cuba have two phases. Firstly, election of delegates to the municipal assembly and election of deputies to the provincial and national assemblies. We go to the first one, municipal election. The election of municipal assembly delegates involve nomination by voters in nomination assemblies, compilation of forcing of candidate biographies, voting by secret ballot, and recall. Municipal assemblies are elected every 2.5 years. Municipal elections are officially non-partisan. Nomination assemblies are held about a month before the election in areas within the electoral districts. During regular elections, from 70% to over 90% of the electorate attend the nomination assemblies. Municipal candidates must be at least 16 years old. Provincial elections. After municipal elections, we have provincial elections. Municipal candidacy commission submit nominations for provincial delegates to provincial candidacy commissions. The provincial candidacy commissions produce the final list of provincial assembly candidates. And last, we have national elections. Cuba's national legislature has 609 members who sit for 5-year terms. Members of the National Assembly represent multiple member constituencies, 2 to 5 members per district, with 1 deputy for each 20,000 inhabitants. Candidates for the National Assembly are chosen by candidacy commissions chaired by local trade union officials and composed of elected representatives of mass organizations, representing workers, youth, women, students, and farmers. The municipal candidacy commissions produce lists of recommended candidates for each electoral district. The final list of candidates for the National Assembly, one for each district, is drawn out by the National Candidacy Commission. At least half of the National Assembly candidates selected must have been previously elected as delegates to the assemblies. Although there is only one candidate per seat, candidates must, in theory, obtain the support of 50% of voters to be elected. If a candidate were to fail to gain 50% of the vote, a new candidate will have to be chosen. However, this has never occurred. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti AISHAH binti KHAIRUL, matric number 1818088. So I'm going to present to you about the foreign policy of Cuba. First of all, I'm going to talk to you about the missiles crisis in Cuba. in 1962. In 14 October, US heard rumors that the Russian or the Soviet were placing missiles in Cuba, so Kennedy sent U-2 spy planes to investigate. They took photos which proved that the rumors were true. For your information, that missiles could fire at almost any major US city. So, in 22nd October, Kennedy ordered a naval blockade of Cuba, meaning that all ships heading towards Cuba would be stopped and searched. Then, on 23rd October, 27 Soviet ships headed towards the blockade. And next, 24th October, due to some discussion, Khrushchev ordered Soviet ships to turn back. On 28 October, public statement has been issued, which means the missiles will be removed from the Cuba. And in the end, on 20 November, United States ended its naval blockade, and the missiles have been removed from Cuba. Okay, next, we proceed with relationship between Spain and Cuba. Spain's relationship with Cuba has varied over time depending on the ideology of the government in power in Madrid, but it remains especially important to Cuba because of history, culture, and economic ties. The second is the relationship between Cuba and Canada. Canada is an important source of foreign investment and trade with Cuba, and it is the largest source of tourists to the island. Like the European Union, Canada engaged the Cuban government at all levels and provides development aid. While clearly disagreeing with Cuban human rights policies, Canada believes that its engagement could help foster bottom-up change in Cuba and looks for opportunities to support civil society to that end. Like Spain and Brazil, Canada could play a significant role as a mediator on Cuba-related issues in the future. Okay, last but not least, the relationship between Cuba and China. For your information, relations with China are based on economic rather than culture or historic ties. China is one of Cuba's two largest trade partners and an important source of foreign investment, but the relationship lacks an ideological component or sense of China, providing a model for Cuba's future development. That's all from me. We proceed our presentation with the current issue of Cuba by Sister Asma.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Asma Adniyyah binti ISMAIL, and I will try to explain about current issues in Cuba. I have divided into three components. First, political, two, economic, and third, social. Okay, for the first, Saudi Arabia lost vote to stay on UN Human Rights Council. China, Russia, and Cuba win seat. So in Dubai, Saudi Arabia lost a bid to keep its seat on the 47 members United Nations Human Rights Council, the body which describes itself as being tasked with promoting and protecting all human rights around the globe. The development after the kingdom's two consecutive terms on the council, some analysts say, demonstrated the deterioration of its image on the world stage following high-profile human rights scandals, including the murder of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi and the detention of several women's rights activists. So they elected directly by secret ballot by a majority of the UN General Assembly. The vote has 4 years been criticized as being plagued by corruption and backdoor deals. And then number 2, world leaders UN video call backdrop. So in the age of the pandemic, the Zoom call background has become the latest social anxiety. It shows is littered with potential pitfall. So number 2 is economic. Number 1, Cuba says it will open its economy to majority-owned foreign investment. So Cuba has announced it will open its centralized Soviet-style economy to foreign investment with Cuban minority participation. A key change because until now, Cuba has insisted on keeping a majority of the shares when foreign companies build hotels and other projects on the island. And foreign companies will be able to have majority shares in business such as tourism, biotechnology, the pharmaceutical industry, and in wholesale trades. According to the government, the new measure will eliminate the previous restriction as part of general adjustment to give more flexibility to investment. And then number 2, Cuban security force evict hunger striking activists in raid on HQ. Cuban terrorism has broke up a protest by a group of dissident artists, academic journalists, and activists, evicting them from the headquarters where they had declared a hunger strike against curb on civil liberties. Authorities said they had to intervene late on Thursday because of violation of highest protocol to prevent the spread of coronavirus, but the group said this was an absurd pretext for ending a protest that had shone a spotlight on right habits in the one-party state. And in social, number 1 is Cuba will restrict flight from the US, 5 other countries to limit COVID spreads. Okay, the Cuban government has announced it will cut down on the number of travelers allowed into the island from the US and 5 other countries as of 1st January to avoid an increase in the number of coronavirus infection. It is now not clear how the authorities plan to implement the measure, but the government statement allowed to a reduction in the number of flights. And then in addition, Cuba has other issues such as deforestation, water pollution, the loss of biodiversity, and air pollution. Soil degradation and desertification are produced by the lack of good farming techniques and natural disasters. Okay, in the conclusion, so capital city is Havana, currency peso, language Spanish, religion Christian, non and Fox, population 11 million, socialist republic, 1 state, 1 party. So there is 3 branch of government: legislative, executive, and judiciary. We had explained about the president, political bureau, and central committee, the central committee, and there is 2 provincial election. We have mentioned it before. Okay, I think until here my speech. Thanks for watching this video, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.